Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I am at Tully Park in Meridian, and this is a park that I've flown at before, but I don't fly out here very often, so I thought I'd do something a little different. I've got the DJI Mini 2. Now, it is not a Mini 2 Pro. There's no such thing as a Mini 2 Pro, but I think in a lot of ways you could consider this a pro drone. We are just a few days away from the introduction of the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I'm filming this on Wednesday, the 20th of September. The 25th is when we're going to see the introduction of the new Mini 4 Pro. But this is still, the reason I'm making this video is this is still a very valid product. And in fact, DJI is still offering updates for this drone. It is not out of date by any means, and it still is a great video platform. Does it have all the obstacle avoidance and everything that the newer drones have, the Mini 3, etc.? No, it doesn't, but it still takes great video and has some great features. One of the things that they added to it with the latest Fly app update, which by the way, I'll put that on the screen, that is Fly app number 1.11.4. And when they gave us that update, a lot of it was for the Mavic 3 Pro. And I thought that the frame guide feature was just for the Mavic 3 Pro. It isn't. It's on the Mini 3 and it's also on this guy. So that's a great addition, particularly if you're posting to TikTok, etc., and you want that vertical format. It helps you frame up your shot. So the other thing that I want to test is, and I didn't even know about this, I saw a video, I think his name is Gavin HR in the UK. He was talking about how they changed the ascent rate on the drones. If you, in other words, they had a safety feature that that even if you had your speed switch in sport mode, when you first fired up the drone, it would start off in normal mode, no matter what. But what he said, he said that it affected the ascent rate, and so we want to look at that. So the ascent rate on this drone is 5 meters per second in sport mode, and it's 3 meters per second in normal mode. So I'm going to have the switch on the controller in sport mode when I fire it up, and we'll just see what the ascent speed is on this guy. If it defaults to the 3 meters per second of normal mode, or if it will ascend in that higher speed. So just something to check out and see, but mostly I just want to show you the goodness of this drone and the great video that it takes. It's a pretty windy day out here today. It says gusts up to 27 miles an hour. I don't think it's that, but this guy has level 5 wind resistance, so we're going to be just fine. This is actually for a mini drone. This was the first mini drone that had power. It's got a 16 meter per second top speed in sport mode, so this guy will definitely pitch forward and work well in the wind. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this drone in the air. I'm going to take you on a tour of the area here, and we're going to look at those at the frame guide, and we're also going to try out that ascent speed and see if it's changed on the DJI Mini 2. Okay, the home point is updated. We've got 14 satellites. The wind has definitely come up here. We're going to shoot in 4K 30 frames per second. Let's take a look at that safety menu. And yeah, I'm on the camera menu right now. Let's go back to safety. 35 meter return to home height is plenty for where we're at here. I just noticed I kind of scrolled down there because I was looking for the APAS and obstacle avoidance menu, which obviously isn't here for this drone. It's not asking for any calibrations. Let's take a look at the battery. The battery is good as we would expect it to be. Let's see what else before we take off here. I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and oh, I want to show you that I have the switch. I don't know if you can see that. I have the switch in sport mode. So when we take off, we'll try that ascent speed, but let's go ahead and start recording. and I'm going to do an automated takeoff on the app. And there's the little drone. It's going to fight the wind here a little bit, but let's go up to, this drone does not pretend to have any kind of precision landing, but let's go ahead and give it the 7-meter Ascent that DJI asked for on their precision landing drones, and we'll just see how well it does just for the fun of it. One of the fun things about this guy is that we don't need to worry about the obstacle avoidance on it, right? Because it's, and you can see that, I don't know if you see the drone right now, it's kind of bucking a little bit. My Mini 2 has always done that. And then it calms down and stops. I don't know if you could see that. It probably wasn't close enough to the camera to see. But when I first started up, it always does a little bit of a buck, and then pretty quickly it calms down. I suspect that's that hot wire in the IMU that's just not quite heated up all the way yet when it does that. But let's drop the camera down here. Let's show you how that works, how that little gimbal works, and you can see that's working. So one thing we're going to do right now is I'm going to push, well, let's back it up just a little, and I'm going to push straight up on the stick, and let's check out that ascent speed. Now remember, I started with the switch in sport mode, and if what Gavin HR says is correct, it should go right up to 5 meters per second in the ascent speed. So straight up now. And it's stopping at 3 meters per second, which is what normal mode is. So, you know, perhaps that just doesn't work for this drone. Let's go ahead and move forward here, and let's just try forward speed. So max forward speed in normal mode is 10 meters per second. So let's go full forward here. And up to 9 meters per second. Yeah, there's 10 meters per second. So so we did all right there, I guess. This drone, I can say, is defaulting to normal mode. It did not use that sport mode version of ascent speed. So the maximum descent speed on this guy in normal mode is 3 meters per second, and it's 3.5 in sport mode. So let's bring the guy down and let's see what it does. Yeah, there's 3 meters per second, and that's pretty fast. You know, you don't realize how fast 3 meters per second is, and we're down. We are right over the next ball field over here. Yeah, you know, like I said, I always tell you guys my depth perception isn't that great, but you know what? It was looking to me like it was right behind that fence, and dropping that camera down, surely it was. So so that kind of reminds me, we haven't done we usually do a droney at first here, so I think we should do that. And the other thing that I have to remember is I don't have the flight time. I'm used to longer flight time. We're already down to 84% battery. I'm used to longer flight time on the newer DJI drones, the Minis and the rest of them. So I can't remember. I think the flight time on this is supposed to be 25 minutes or something like that. So I'm dropping that gimbal down, and let's go reverse and up now. And again, the switch is in sport mode, but it's going at normal mode speeds. Let's pick that camera back up. We'll back this guy up a ways and give you a look at the park here. You can see where I'm at. There's this is kind of a cool park. It's got a skateboard. It's a skateboard park as well. Let me drop that camera down. See if you can take a look. Oh, I thought maybe I was over the top of it. I'm not. No, right there. There it is. There's a skateboard park, and you can see some guys having fun there right now. In fact, I'm going to put the switch back in normal mode just for giggles, and then we will switch it into sport mode here in a few minutes. But we can watch these guys here. Let's watch these guys do a little skateboarding. And the other thing about this drone is it does have digital zoom. It will crop in on the sensor. So I stopped recording there. We're going to start again. You know what I was looking for there? I was looking for a scroll wheel on that side, and I forgot. This one doesn't have it, but I hold down the function button on the left side, and I can scroll in with digital, just cropping in on the sensor, just a digital zoom there. So let's go ahead and get a little higher, and let me drop the camera down so you can see these guys a little better. Kind of get a whole more full view of the skate park here. Well, we need to go even higher yet. So anyway, that is the full digital 2x zoom, and it is, again, it is a digital zoom cropping in on the sensor. Okay, let's go back. So, you know, like I said, you talk about professional features. They didn't call this a pro drone, but it's got them. This street right here, for those of you that are familiar with the area, this is Linder. And off in the distance, you're going to see Cherry Lane, that direction. But let's go the other way here. And in fact, let's go over the top of the ditch here. And we'll head this direction. Let's throw it in sport mode. We're about 58 meters high. We're in sport mode now, so let's see how fast she'll go in sport mode here. Top speed is advertised at 16 meters per second. And my experience is it'll do all of that. Look at that, we're up to 15.79. Yeah, there's 16 meters per second. And boy, the drone's going right by me now, and it is hauling the mail. Let's go ahead and turn here, and we'll just follow the ditch here for a little ways. And yeah, it's doing it. Okay, so let's, well, heck, let's go down here. Yeah, we got 68% battery. Let me take you to the end of this. I've shown you this before. That's Meridian Waterworks right there in that facility. And if we go clear to the end here of this walking path, and did it pitch the gimbal there? I thought it saw it, yeah, there it's pitching the gimbal. So in sport mode, you have to expect that, and it even gave us that message on the app. So in sport mode, because the drone has to pitch so far to maintain that speed, it kicks the gimbal down. So yeah, so we are coming up on, yeah, it's telling me weak signal. I'm pointed the wrong way here, and yeah, so as soon as I turned around, I got signal back. Yeah, RC signal lost. So yeah, it's going to turn around and come back to us. Yep, it'll turn around and come back the other way. As soon as we get signal back, we'll try that sport mode going the other direction and see if we get the same speed. So it'll come back to us here in a second. It'll go into loss of signal, return to home. That happened pretty suddenly, and of course I realized I was facing the wrong direction. I was facing away from the drone, but boy, that really happened. Yeah, here it is, and it's in return to home. It's beeping at us, and yeah, we'll get our telemetry back here in a second. Yeah, no, well, we lost it. It'll come back. It's working its way back to us here. See if I can get pointed towards it. Yeah, now we've got telemetry, and it is definitely on its way back. It's coming back at 10.5 meters per second. Strong wind warning, it said, so it didn't like the wind. Okay, we're going to cancel that return to home. And notice how it's taking a direct path. Well, I'm trying to cancel. No, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so now we are still in, yeah, as soon as I moved it sideways, you saw that gimbal tilt. And again, that's part of being in sport mode. So let's head back this direction and let's kick it up to full tilt. And you saw it kick the gimbal down there. And let's see how fast it'll go this is probably against the wind. But you know, that shows you this is a powerful little drone. Look at that. It's still at 12 meters per second above. Let's bring it down a little bit and let's see. Let's just see how fast this little guy will go. And coming back towards the park here, and I was kind of hoping it'd kick some speed up, but yeah, I feel a big gust of wind blowing up. So we're in sport mode, 9 meters per second. So with the wind at its back, it got up to that top speed pretty easy. And you can see where I'm sitting right there. And I can hear the drone, man. I'm watching the drone. It is flat, tilted into the wind, and it's moving, man. And this is just a little mini drone. That's pretty darn cool. Okie dokie, I stopped right there. We're gonna go back into normal mode. And so what I promised to show you was the framing guide. So let's turn around here. And like I said, we've been kind of stressing this poor little drone out, doing some things. So let's see. Let's get over where we have something vertical here. And let's get right over the ditch here. Let me drop down. And you know, actually, it probably looked better with the, man, I don't know. I was just trying to think of the best way to frame up the shot. So we have the sun at the side, and I see that we've got a little bit of a tilted horizon. And that could be because of the wind, but anyway, I moved the drone. I'm gonna yaw back and forth and see if I can straighten that out. That's making it worse. Let's go this way. Yeah, that kind of straightened it out a little bit. Okay, that helped our horizon. Okay, let's take a look at the frame guide here. So I'm clicking on the 3 dots in the top right, and I'm going into the camera menu there. I clicked on camera, and if you go down right below grid lines, you see frame guide there. I'm going to click down on that, and it says frame guide off. Well, I'll be darned, look at that. It doesn't let me switch on this drone. So I lied to you guys. I saw it in the menu, and I thought I'd be able to, well, hold it. Now, there it did. Okay, so I thought that not seeing that stuff highlighted, I didn't think it would do it. So that's in widescreen. Let's go ahead and get out and let you take a look at that. So that's widescreen. So we do have it. You know, that was a little confusing there looking at that menu. So that would be like an old-fashioned cinema, you know, when you're with the cinema wide filming. And let's go ahead. There's a bunch of choices here, and hopefully you can see them there on the screen. But here's the old style TV. Let's take a look at that one. I don't want to go through all these because I just did that on a recent video with the Mini 3, and if you want to see them all, I'll link that video in the description below, with the Mini 3 Pro, I should say. But I think it's great that they're giving us this with the Mini 2. Like I said, this is an older drone. We're down to 30% battery. I better get it in gear here. And what I wanted to show you was the 9x16 vertical, because that is what you're going to use if you are posting to social media. You're gonna use this, and mind you, I want to remind you that it's not going to change the video on the SD card. In fact, when I edit this, I'll show you the video off the SD card up in the corner and this in the other corner. All it does is crop in so that you can frame. And then in post-production in your video editor, when you tell your video editor that you want to crop into 9x16, that's what it'll do. And this gives you a guide so that you know what you're seeing in that frame. So, okay, let's go back in there again, and we are going to go back into off. There's off. And so we got our regular framing back. And we're going to do a return to home while we still got some battery. We're down to 25% battery. I don't know how long we've been flying here, but It is definitely, you know, we're used to more flight time with the newer drones. There's no question about it. But if you get the Fly More kit with this drone, you know, it gives you 3 batteries. And often, what I've found is often you don't need that much flight time. Okay, let's kind of turn this guy around. And we'll get a look at the skate park here. Let's move in on the skate park. And then we'll throw it into return to home and we'll see how close of a landing we get. Pretty cool. In fact, let's drop it down. Let's drop our altitude down. We had our altitude set at, yeah, so it's telling me low battery, return to home. It's funny it didn't kick it into return to home, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it on the controller. And it didn't mess around, and it should raise up to that 35 meters. One of the things I noticed this didn't do that the later drones do, it didn't pick up the camera. Usually the newer drones, it'll pick the camera to look straight forward, but that's okay. That's me picking up the camera there, and you can see it's coming right back to us. And I'll drop the camera down as we go. And let's see how close it gets to the landing pad here. And you saw the gimbal kick as we came to a stop. That's the other point I guess I can make, is the newer drones definitely have a more powerful gimbal. So it should start descending here in a second. And it is. And it looks like it wants to land right on top of that trash can, doesn't it? So we're not going to let it do that. Let's see as it comes down if it'll move a little bit. Well, yeah, it's starting to move. It's moving out into the grass. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to throw it into cine mode, and I'm going to bring it over here and bring it over the landing pad. Bring it forward here just a little. See if we can get it over the center of the pad here. Maybe. Even in cine mode, it kind of moves around a little bit. That's probably as close as I'm going to get. So I'm going to go straight down on that left stick, straight down. And it should pick up the camera here in a second. And it did at the very last second there. And we're on the pad. You can see me standing there, and you saw that on the Action 2 camera. Let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the DJI Mini 2 Pro, well, no, it's not called the Mini 2 Pro, but I call it a Pro drone. You guys saw how good the video quality is on this guy, and this is a really windy day. It handled it without any issue at all. They added that frame guide feature, which is handy, like I said, especially for guys and gals posting to TikTok and Instagram Reels and those kind of things, even YouTube Shorts, I guess, for that matter. So it gives you, anyway, that gives you a guide for that vertical format and other formats if you want, but I'm sure most people would use that, the one for the vertical format. The drone, you know, typical DJI fashion, it flies great. Now with regard to that ascent speed, you know, maybe it's just something that doesn't apply to the Mini 2, I'm not sure, but I couldn't see any difference. I started out in sport mode and it defaulted to normal mode, so that safety feature is still there that I saw. So if it changed, maybe it's only on certain drones. I can't say. Maybe I'll try it on another drone next time I go out and fly. But anyway, this was just I just wanted to reiterate the goodness of the DJI Mini 2. It's a fantastic drone, and you know what? If there's a lot of hype about the Mini 4 Pro right now, yeah, I'm going to get one. I'm, as my friend Sean Matthews says, I'm a drone gonk. So that means I'm into drones, and yeah, I'm going to get whatever when DJI kicks out a new drone. But my point is this. The Mini 2 is still a fantastic drone that takes fantastic video and is really fun to fly, and you can fly it on windy days. There's just so much to like about this drone. Anyway, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. The DJI Mini 2, just an amazing little piece of tech, and I would say a bargain as well. All right, see you guys on the next one. Bye now.